welcome back to another episode of Chicks in Construction. I'm your host, Mikki Paradise, and this is my co-host,
Jessica Abreu.
We have some updates. Jess bought a townhouse, and we have some tea, some juice. And I was like, this needs to be on the pod because you essentially narrowly avoided a homeowner horror story. And I was like, we gotta share. So spill the tea.
All right. So we were supposed to close on the townhouse a few Fridays ago, and our lawyer calls us on the day before, and she's like, we cannot close on Friday because the deed that was given to the owner that we are buying from is just the structure. None of the land is deeded to the current owner. So you might be thinking, well, it's a townhouse. What does that matter? Well, let me tell you. The structure is literally just the walls.
Yeah.
And the roof. It does not include the area that you park. It does not include the patio, the deck, or the land that my HVAC is sitting on. None of it. Nor does it include the lot that I have behind. That's just like grass that, I have to mow, which I could really care less about that part.
Right.
Fine, have it.
Fine, it's yours. You can keep it.
So we were really trying to close. So, we're like, well, can't we just go through the sale of the structure and then later you can find the original owners and have them deed the land directly to us? No, the answer
because they can be like, sure, for $50,000.
Exactly. So luckily, the sale from that person to this other owner wasn't a super long time ago. So it wasn't that somebody had passed away or any of that. And luckily, they were still in the United States and they weren't jerks.
Yay for people not being a-holes.
But you know who was a jerk? The law office that did the original deed and everything
for the guy that you were buying from.
Yes,
because they screwed it up.
And do you want to know what they said? They're like, oh, that lawyer on record doesn't work for us anymore. We don't have anything to do with him.
You're like, it's still your law practice, individual.
I was like, is that
a thing?
Is that something that actually happens?
What did your lawyer say about that?
She just avoided my question.
Oh my God.
So I said, well, can we go after them?
Yeah.
Because it's their malpractice that has caused us so much frustration. Because with being an Airbnb, it's prime time in the summer. We have now lost two full weekends of being able to do work.
Yeah, to get it ready.
Because we wanted it to be able to be rented in like one more week. We're like, oh, we should have it ready for that weekend. Now we'll be doing work. But turns out we cannot sue them. The guy who we are buying from can. He just was like,
could care less. He's like, look, can we close or not?
So what would have so I asked, what would have happened if, we just went through with the sale, if our lawyer hadn't caught this.
Right.
And we were just living it blissfully unaware.
Yeah.
And she said, well, at any point, somebody could come and be like, well, I want this land and you don't own this land. So like, I can take this land or I can go find who it belonged to and buy this land. And they're like, if anything happened on it, we wouldn't be liable for anything that happened on it. But if somebody put in a claim for something or like the whole thing burned down or.
That's what I was, because me and my husband were talking about it. And I was like, first of all, I was like, Hector, could you imagine if you like came home to your little townhouse and there's like a man on your back porch just sunning themselves.
Because they own it.
And then like him being like, well, I own this, so what are you going to do? That, I was like that. But then I was like, wait a second. So like if it's near the beach, like it's not that near the beach where anything could happen. It would be like totally washed out. But like if it were, you wouldn't be able to rebuild because that's not your land. And so that's where I was like, okay, no, this is a much bigger deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So good news is that the owners that originally sold it were like, well, that sucks. So sorry for you.
Whoopsie.
What do you need us to do? And we just needed them to notarize some documents that said that, yes, they indeed did mean to sell the land.
Intend to send the okay.
And that they are deeding it to the owner that we are buying from, so that when he now sells it to us, we will own the structure and the land.
Dude, you have a good closing attorney, because
She is amazing.
I'm telling you. And so that's not something you would think to ask. But hey, when you're purchasing a house, be like, hey, double check that the land is included, please.
Just make sure.
Oh
So
my God, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So I guess sometimes when you buy a condo or a townhouse, the land belongs to the HOA.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yes, I thought about that too.
Sometimes. However, this townhome is literally just 4 in a row, and there is no HOA. So we all own like little plots like this.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting.
The lawyer that originally did it was just a moron.
Yeah. Dummy dumb
I'm like,
dumb.
you have one job. You are a real estate attorney. You have one job.
Seriously. Yeah. No. Wow. So Jess is, she narrowly escaped a homeowner horror story. Your mic is on, right?
Yeah.
It's so well hidden. You can't even see it. Jess knows how to hide a mic, I'm telling you. I was like, oh God, did Jess not hide it right? So she's good at it. She's way better than I am.
Well, yours is hidden now under your blazer.
It is. But that was not intentional. That just happened by magic. So, like, I'm sorry that you didn't get to post, because I know you were so excited. But thank God your lawyer caught that, because that would have been a freaking night. Like, because just the way that the universe works, like, it would have not come up until like somebody burnt their townhouse down and all the houses went down, and you're the only one that can't rebuild because you don't own the land. And it's just like, oh my God, it would have been something ridiculous.
Or the people that owned it pass away, and then their
kids inherit it.
They're like, oh, we own this land. And they come after us for money to buy the land from them.
Oh God,
like, it's crazy.
Seriously, that is nuts. That is nuts.
Make sure you have a good closing attorney
that
they actually read all of the documents.
Make sure the land is included when you buy your next house, guys. Oh God. Yeah. I mean, the things that like you have to be aware of, like but
like, why hire somebody to know these things so that I don't have to?
But even still, I know of a real estate attorney that actually got disbarred.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Apparently, of lawyers that get disbarred, real estate attorneys are pretty high. It's a high percentage. There's a lot of effing around and finding out, apparently. Yeah. But it was so funny because I'd used her to refinance my house because like I wanted to do a 15-year mortgage instead of a 30. And so she comes to my house to like sign the papers, and she's in tears, hysterical. And I'm like, what is happening? And she tells
I don't do tears.
I'm like, did I do like what? What is happening? So she tells me, as I am about to sign documents to essentially pay off the current mortgage and then open a new mortgage, that she was a victim of wire fraud. So essentially when you're buying and selling houses, it's all done through wire transfers. And real estate attorneys are supposed to verify the wiring instructions. So if you hear snoring, Prime is at the very step of this, just my 225-pound English Mastiff. He's up there and he is in a real deep sleep. He's in a REM cycle right now. So I'm sorry, you might hear some snoring. I was actually on a podcast and he was like up there. When they posted the podcast, you could hear Prime snoring. And I was like, great, I should probably start warning people. But so they send the wire information, and the real estate attorney is supposed to, because it's like the whole cost of the house. And then the bank, that gets paid off, and then the bank provides the money for the next mortgage. So the real estate attorney is supposed to call the bank and verify this is the correct wiring information, correct? Well, she says, well, nobody actually does that. So what scammers do is they're aware of their, I don't know how, magic, evil, dark magic. It's dark magic that like a transaction's about to happen, and they send what looks like the wiring instructions from the bank, and you wire the money to their account, and then it's gone. Like once
Forever.
it's been wired, and not even Jesus can help you. Like it's gone. So she had wired the money, and the person that she represented in the closing was getting letters from the mortgage company saying, this hasn't been paid, this hasn't been paid. So they investigated and found out that there was wire fraud. So she, out of her own personal savings, paid the mortgage. Then, like, but technically, I don't know. The homeowner could have sued her to force that, but like she did it like up front because she knew that it was her mistake. So that one thing is like, well, wow. Like, thank God for the homeowner that she wasn't horrible. Like, she obviously made a mistake, but like she stepped up. Then she self-reported the incident to the bar association, and they still just barred her. And I was like, damn, like that is so serious. So I'm saying,
so if you're a real estate attorney, check
obviously,
wire.
And apparently there's also an insurance for real estate attorneys for this, but she didn't have that insurance. So also, if you're a real estate attorney, make sure you have the wire fraud transfer insurance.
Good Lord.
Oh my God. I tell you, after that situation happened, I was like, you're going to hand deliver this, right? And she's like, yeah, we're not doing wire transfers. But I was like, yeah, because my bank's just down the street. So just hand deliver that.
Well, when we were doing our due diligence this time, they're like, we were just going to wire transfer. And they're like, no, there's been too many.
Yeah, just
too
like
many scams.
Write a check.
Write a check. And then they weren't happy that the check was taking so long to get there from the bank to like write the check and then
you know what? You'd be less happy if it was sent to a bank in the Philippines.
Yes.
So,
calm down.
like calm, what is it? Cool your jets?
Cool
your jets. Yes. Pump the brakes. So do your research on your real estate attorney. When we bought this house, we had a bomb ass real estate attorney. His name was like Tom something. He was fabulous. Like originally bought the house. So y'all, it's these things seem like they're non-consequential. They are very consequential. You just don't want to find out the hard way how consequential they are. So Jess was lucky to have a really good real estate attorney. So she didn't have to find out the hard way. Crazy ass story.
Crazy.
But you're closing
Monday.
Okay. Woo! So it's happening in a few days.
Yes.
It's going to be on like Donkey Kong. And we're very excited because we had a paint company give Jess some paint to try out. And she's going to use it and then come back and like give her honest opinion. And if like, how was it a homeowner friendly paint to repaint? So we're excited about that. I'm excited for her to have that opportunity. I'm not excited for her to have to paint.
No.
Because that's the devil's work. But I am excited that you get to try some paint and see if you like it, and then potentially recommend it to our homeowners.
We'll see. We'll let you know.
We're gonna find out.
Picking paint colors is not fun.
Oh my God, I hate it. But I will say, I just know the colors that I like now. So Chantilly lace is a very cool white, and I'm just like, just Chantilly lace it. Chantilly lace everything. That's not what's happening here because this is before I knew I liked Chantilly lace. And as I've said, painting is the devil's work. So there ain't no Chantilly lace here. But my bathroom that I renovated not so long ago, Chantilly lace everywhere. And it's just like a really, really cool white. I like it so much. And then like the most popular gray is like, what is it? Agreeable gray. In apartments, literally, if I put money every time that I get a job that the color of the units is going to be agreeable gray, I would be a millionaire. Like if I could bet, like a sports bet type situation, this is going to be agreeable gray, I would be like, I could retire now. Because that's a very...
There you go. So if you're
worldly gray is also a very cool gray. Or no, it's a warmer gray. Because sometimes cool grays can be like prisonish. Prison adjacent, and I'm like, that's not the vibe I'm going for. But worldly gray is a really nice, like, it's a warmer gray. Not that we need, we're not designers. Don't listen to anything that we have to say. But today's episode, we wanted to talk about reasonable and unreasonable expectations when you're going into a home renovation. So as we've kind of started collecting all these homeowner horror stories, they're genuinely horror stories, and there's a lot of things to learn in all of these horror stories. But sometimes I'm reading them, and like as a contractor, I'm like, I don't know if that was a reasonable expectation on you as the homeowner. So really, your general contractors should be sitting down with you and being like, hey, this, and this, these things are going to happen. You need to know about them in advance so that when they happen, you're not mad about it. But it seems like that's not happening. And Jess brought up a really good point that, like,
when you're doing it all the time, the contractors is just, they're knocking down walls, they're doing this and that, and they know
there's going to be a mess.
Just like whatever you do, like, you're so used to doing that one job or two jobs that, like, you know what to expect all the time, and you just assume
everybody knows.
And
that's the thing.
We don't know.
Well, the homeowners don't know.
We never know.
They don't know. They don't know anything.
Nope.
When it comes to this stuff. Even people that are like, oh, I'm a contractor.
They don't know.
Lies. They don't know. If they were a contractor, they wouldn't be hiring a general contractor. I'm just saying. We had a situation when I was building in the Turks and Caicos where one of the units, somebody who's a contractor wanted to buy it, and then they offered like $40,000 under asking and wanted about $100,000 of extras, but they were a contractor. And I was like, oh, no. You are not a contractor. You're a liar. So
you just want a whole bunch of stuff
right.
for free.
I'm like,
no,
not happening. It was an island off of an island, and I was like, you're gonna get what you get, okay?
And you don't get upset.
And no, you're not. But that was fun. It wasn't fun, just in case you didn't catch the sarcasm. So we just want to discuss with you, the homeowner, some reasonable expectations and maybe some unreasonable expectations, and just kind of go through and help you understand and have a better picture and a better idea of things that you're getting into. Because we keep hearing some of the same things over and over again, and I'm like, maybe we should talk about them.
Chitty chat.
So one of the things is mess and drywall dust specifically, which I refer to as magical fairy dust, because it will literally get everywhere, no matter what you do, no matter what your contractors do. They could do nothing and it would still get everywhere. They could do everything and it would still get everywhere, because drywall dust is just everywhere and forever. And it's you could clean it.
Yeah.
And it will be there again.
Yeah. It's like when you have a real Christmas tree and you bring it out when it's all done.
Yeah. And all the little
pine needles
everywhere.
And then the next Christmas, you go to put up another tree and there's already pine needles.
And you're just like, how?
I cleaned this, but there's still
pine everywhere.
Needles. Same with
magical fairy dust. Same thing. So that's one of those things. We get a lot of that. Like, it was so messy. And like, listen, there's a level of mess that is unacceptable. Like, if people are leaving food, their lunch trash in your bathroom that they're renovating, or they're leaving, at the end of the day, they're not cleaning up the debris or whatever. But like, dust throughout your house, I'm so sorry to tell you this, it's going to happen.
Yep.
Like, it just is. And if your contractor's not telling you that, maybe they forgot, or maybe they thought you knew, but you needed to know. It's going to get everywhere. And and then you're going to clean it, and you're going to think it's done. And then the next day there's more, and you're thinking that they made a mess again, but it's like, it's falling from the ether. Nobody understands how drywall dust works. Nobody's researched it, because it's of a magical.
It is.
It's in the magical realm, and nobody understands how it works. It just happens that way. So debris, dust is gonna happen, and you need to be just ready for that. I think there are some things that are reasonable expectations. I think it's reasonable to expect, especially if you have like carpeted floors. Yeah. I think it's reasonable for you to expect your contractors to wear the little booties with like plastic things they put over their shoes. My HVAC contractor is literally my nephew. And so like when he comes to the house and he puts his little booties on, I'm like, what are you even doing? Like, this is our house. Like, just come in. And he's like, no, like this is part of our process. Like we do this every time. And so they're very hardcore about wearing the booties. So they put the booties on, they take the booties off. They like, so like they're not bringing dirt and debris into the house, which is just like, it's like a little white glove level service that is really nice. I don't think that's unreasonable to expect, unless you're went with the lowest number. Then homeboys are going to walk right through your carpet, your white carpet, with their boots covered in mud because they're the cheapest people on earth and have no sense, zero sense. So again, if you're paying the cheapest amount of money, you should also expect a high level of shenanigans. So if you went with the lowest bid, it's not just going to shenan once, it's going to shenan again and again and again and again. So
don't do that.
Don't do that, please, because you're going to end up writing us a homeowner horror story, and we don't want that for you. I mean, we want the stories, but we want to eventually, not have like that Hinge. It's like a dating app that like their whole logo or their whole like mantra is like, we want you all to put us out of business because nobody's looking for dates anymore, or something like that. Or we want you to delete us, whatever. We want people to stop having homeowner horror stories. I don't think that just our podcast is going to be able to achieve that across the nation, but we're going to try.
We're trying.
So dust, debris, that is a thing. You have to be ready for it. There are definitely, well, I don't want to say definitely, but you should fully expect for there to be something that you weren't expecting when you open up a wall. So like when Jess and I were talking about this before, like some things that I've seen is somebody wanted to make, you know what's really popular right now? It's like those folding windows. So like in your kitchen, if you have like if your kitchen counters and cabinets or below cabinets go to the back of the house, a lot of people are like, how cool would it be if we had those sliding opening windows so we could kind of like do indoor outdoor, like people come up and just like a bar almost.
Very European.
So I've seen this a lot.
Okay.
The problem with that is there's a lot of structural stuff that's in that wall. If there was not originally a window, there's probably a lot of structural things that you're going to open that up and it's going to be like, oh crap. So bathrooms have to be vented so that the gases can leave your house. There's a lot that happens with toilets. I think you can imagine.
Yeah.
And that needs to be vented. This is air that needs to be vented. So a lot of times you'll have a vent that's going all from upstairs to downstairs and it's venting
everything
out. So I've seen it where we opened up an area and there was huge structural members that, okay, in order to take that out, we've got to have a engineer come in and tell us, you know, we need to put in a metal I-beam and support it with like king and jack studs, which is like 4 or 5 studs put together. And because it's structurally holding up the side of the house. Right. So it's really important. And if you don't do that,
don't put a hole in the side of your house.
I mean, if you really want it, just expect that you're going to probably open that up and it's going to get pricey. So that's one of those things where it's like, if you're opening up walls, if you're putting in windows where there aren't windows, or you're trying to like make a bigger window, you just got to be ready for like, listen, anything can go. It could be like, oh, there's nothing there. Or it could be like, oh, now an engineer has to get involved. Yeah. So just like really being aware that your general contractor that you're hiring to do this renovation did not build your house and does not know what is behind that wall. And they're not going to know what's behind the wall until they take the drywall down. And that's when it gets interesting. And it could go your way or it could not go your way. So,
and what if they're opening up an interior wall? Like a lot of times some of our homeowner horror stories have been about like electrical needing to be updated or plumbing needs to be updated because there are certain codes that things have to, like, so if you're opening up a wall inside, is there surprises that could come up?
So there are a few surprises. You can have interior load bearing walls. So depending on how your house is built and how your trusses, which is what your roof is on, like you have trusses and then the roof goes on top of the truss. And so that's the top part of your house. And that carries a lot of weight. So there's points within your house in your exterior walls and in some of your interior walls that are holding like the load or the weight of that roof is going down through the house and it's hitting this wall. And so this wall is now helping to support the roof. So even though it's an interior wall, it still has load that it is bearing. So that is a wall that you can move
Slightly.
But again, it's like, okay, so engineers need to be involved because structural load, and this is so much. Like, do we need to go into this? Probably not. But the more you know, structural load literally goes from the top to the very bottom. So underneath where a structural load bearing wall will be in your pad, if you have a concrete pad or in your crawl space, there should be a footing. And that footing is supporting that load all the way from that concrete footing all the way to your roof. So if you were to move something, you might have to go under your crawl space, put in a footing, get that inspected, add the framing members and add the structure, get that inspected, so that you're not disrupting that load and how it's bearing. So it's a lot. So again, if you're not keeping it simple and just doing simple things and we're not moving anything, you need to be prepared for like, oh, turns out that wall's load bearing. Now we need to get an engineer involved. And then I don't think it should end up as a surprise that your contractor should know based on the year that your house was built, if they're moving things and adding something new, that's going to mean the building code is going to require all of your electrical or plumbing or whatever it is that you're moving has to be brought up to the code. So it's not just like, oh, we're going to move this sink to the new location and we're going to use a new type of plumbing material and connect it to an old type of plumbing material. No, you're not. You're not doing that because the code says no. Now, unless they're not getting inspections, which you're not going to do because you watch the Chicks in Construction and you know that you're getting inspections because every why? Time. Inspections protect you. They protect you as the homeowner. They protect your investment in what you're doing in your house. It makes everything legitimate. So you're getting inspections. So if your general contractor doesn't have that in the budget, that will be an unexpected surprise, but it shouldn't be because your GC should know like, hey, if we're moving this, code is going to require us to update all your plumbing. So that should be in their estimate. That should be in the cost that has already been projected to you. One of our homeowner horror stories, the GC acted like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe it. We have to update all your plumbing and electrical because it needs to bring it up to code. And I was like, that's not news to any legitimate general contractor. So it shouldn't be a surprise, but they can try to make it a surprise. But because you watch this episode, you're not going to be surprised. No. You're going to be like, hey, GC, if you're moving my sink, do we need to bring the plumbing up to code? And if he says no, then you got him. No, I'm just kidding. It's not like,
if he says no, run.
Right. You don't hire him. Because then you'll still be writing in and sharing your homeowner horror stories with us. So contractors need time for quality work. So this is an interesting thing. And so we're constantly getting rushed on our job. And like, especially the finished trades. Like, not to say that like plumbers don't need time or electricians don't need time, but like their time frame is different. Like what they do is the same thing everywhere. The code is the code is the code. It, there's not dry times. There's not like an art almost to their work product. It's a skill. It's a trained skill. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, plumbers and electricians are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then their knowledge base is beyond.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the job with this plumber right now, and he is amazing. He knows so much about literally everything that I'm like, dude, who are you? And like, he has this tattoo of like a wrench on his arm, and I'm like, but wait, are you just a plumber? He's really, so I ain't shitting on plumbers. Plumbers, electricians, I'm here for it. We need you. Please encourage your children to be plumbers and electricians. But there is an art to finished trades, and finished trades are like the drywall, the paint, the tile. Like, these things take multiple steps. There's multiple phases. So like for drywall, the drywall gets hung. Then somebody, and it's normally a different trade. So this is another thing that homeowners don't understand. Most construction people don't understand this. So drywall is a very segregated trade. So a drywall hanger hangs. A drywall finisher, which is who puts the mud and the tape and makes everything look like a cohesive wall, that's what they do. They're a separate person. A sander is a separate person. So like, they're all very specific to this one part of the job. So if you're a general contractor, you're having to schedule the drywall hanger to come out and hang. And then once that's done, you have to schedule the finisher to come in, and he takes multiple trips because it gets multiple coats. So you get a tape, like they mud it and they tape it. Then that tape gets the top coat or an additional coat. And then once that's all dry, it gets a skim coat. And then once that's all dry, it gets sanded. So that is multiple days.
A lot of days.
It is multiple trips. And so that's one of those things where if that's not properly explained to you, you feel like this is taking forever. And it's like, we don't dictate how long it takes drywall mud to dry. That's one of those things that happens to us a lot, especially in the wintertime. Dry times slow down because it's so cold outside. And people will be like, this needs to be sanded. Well, you can't sand wet mud. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, what? Get my hair dryer out? Like, that's not a thing. So understanding that the tile guy, that's not happening in one day. He has to come, he has to set the tile in mortar. That mortar has to dry, and then they come back the next day to grout it. So it's, those finished trades take time. You're not going to get your entire house painted in a day unless you've got a crew of like 7 or 8 people in your house. That painter is going to take a couple days. And honestly, you want him to take a couple days, because the slower they go, especially with the finished trades, the better quality product you get. When you're rushing people, you get a rushed product, and then you won't be happy with it, and you'll be mad about the finished product, but you're not understanding that you rushed them. So they did a rush job. And so you're like, when you give them the time that they need to do the product, to do the job, you get a much better result. So, I mean, there's limits to that. It shouldn't take
weeks.
Right. It should not take weeks.
But knowing, having a time frame up front.
Yes.
And knowing that things are might take a little bit longer to dry.
Yeah. That like things could come up like that.
Maybe a day or two, not weeks.
Yeah, it shouldn't be weeks. And I also know that, there's a lot of motivation on my jobs for these guys to show up every day, because there's a lot of money on the table. When it comes to residential repairs and residential renovations, the general contractors have a much harder time finding the trades to come and do this work, because listen, I'm just gonna be honest. This guy started your drywall, right? But then he got a call from his buddy that's offering him more money. And he's like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna finish this drywall, but later. I'm gonna first go to this job that this guy offered me more money on and do that. Now, is this your problem? No, it's your general contractor's problem. But it means that your general contractor was expecting this guy to show up, and he didn't. And more than likely, he didn't even call him and tell him he wasn't coming. Ugh. So your GC thought he was going to be there at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever time he said he was going to be there, and he just never showed up. Your general contractor doesn't figure that out until whatever time o'clock. Then he calls him. He doesn't answer. He doesn't answer until 9 o'clock at the end of the day to be like, oh, I had another job. And then your GC's like, oh, when are you coming? And he's like, I don't know. This is so common for general contractors. Finding trades that are just like, yes, I'll be there. Now, some general contractors have all in-house people, which you are going to pay a premium for that. That is like white glove level service, but
you won't have these issues.
You won't have these delays. So it's one of those things where you get what you pay for. Sometimes you don't, but in general, if you're working with a general contractor that all of their trades are in-house, you're going to have a much better experience because these people they understand the general contractor's expectations. They understand their company policies. They understand their company culture. They understand the experience that they want their homeowners to have. That is not something that you get when a general contractor is using subs. Now, listen, most general contractors, especially in the South, I don't know about up north, but in the South, they're using subcontractors. So it's just the nature of the business here. And you kind of get what you get. Sometimes it's awesome. And sometimes you're like, why? My Pilates instructor redid her kitchen. There was a lot of people not showing up. Like I think it took way too long. It took me 4 months. It took her 4 months to have, and this is a big old fancy kitchen. They spent a boatload of money. And there was a lot of not people showing up. And then they hired a company to come in and sand the hardwood floors. And they messed them up real bad. And so then they had to bring in another company to come in and sand the hardwood floors. And it was a whole thing. And so again, like they're hiring subs. One thing is I would have it in your contract that when there are trades on the job, someone from the general contracting company is there to oversee it. Because in this situation, if somebody who had basic knowledge of construction would have seen how badly this hardwood floor situation was going and stopped it and been like, whoa. It literally created like in her hardwood floors. And so they had to come in and you're taking inches, like you're taking
the wood away.
Width of the wood away. And so it's a whole thing. This poor woman. So something like just expect when you're dealing with a general contractor that does not have in-house everything, that there's going to be delays. Like there's going to be stupid delays. There are going to be stupid delays. Your general contractor is going to tell you so-and-so is going to be there tomorrow and they're not going to show up. And it is not the general contractor's fault because that's just, they don't have control over that. And hopefully your GC has a backup guy that they're like, okay, I'm not going to mess with this guy anymore. I have this backup guy. He'll be there tomorrow, but that's going to be a day delay. And it could turn into a 2-day delay. It could be stupid. But listen, we don't want this to be what's going to happen, but we also live in reality. So if you go into this situation of your renovation expecting a little bit of shenanigans, you're like, well, I watch the Chicks in Construction. I know something stupid is going to happen. You're ready. And then maybe it doesn't happen. And it's like this amazing experience. Everybody shows up when they finish on time. And you're like, that was amazing. None of those things happened. That's awesome. That's what we want for you. But we also want you to know what's slightly normal and what is to be expected and that you can expect so that you're not like immediately feeling like this is a horrible experience. There's going to be delays. People are not going to show up. There's things like that are definitely going to happen.
Got to make sure your expectations are on point.
Yeah, because then you feel like it's going worse than it actually is. Like,
yeah,
I feel like there was a situation.
Don't set your expectations too high.
Yeah, like
set them like here.
Just
and
here.
then hopefully they go above.
But if you're here, then you're not going to be disappointed. I was just doing something and somebody was like, you need to have realistic expectations about that, Mikki. And I was like, my expectations are not realistic. And they're like, not even close. And so when you have unrealistic expectations of a situation, it feels like it's bad when it's actually not. Like, this is just normal. So manage them. We've definitely already talked about having a contingency that's 15 to 20% of your total budget. You absolutely need to have that. That is non-negotiable. We've talked about that in other episodes. And expect for shenanigans. You're going to need that 15 to 20% contingency.
That helps with the surprises.
Yeah, for the oops, we need to call an engineer now because it turns out there's structural members in the outside of that wall. Now, hopefully your GC expected that because really they should. Oh, delays in choices. So if there's certain things that you can cause delays on if you don't make choices on materials. So don't do that to yourself. Just make your decision choices or hire somebody that can help you make selections. If you don't feel comfortable with like, I don't know what tile I like, hire a designer. It's not the cheapest thing in the world, but it might just be the thing that saves you costly delays because you didn't order the tile in time. So that's something to think about too. Like if you don't get your products ordered because you're not sure what you want, that can slow things down.
And then if things are back ordered, like if you end up picking the things that everybody likes, because it's the best,
they're like, oh, this tile will be in 16 weeks. Yeah, that's gonna slow you down.
It can happen.
It can. So you're gonna have to be like, find a different tile, or wait 16 weeks. That's the thing. So that we've kind of discussed that your contractors won't be working every single day. That their things have to dry. That inspections have to happen. So like. In a lot of our homeowner horror stories, people have talked about how they didn't show up for 3 days. That might have been because they just weren't showing up for 3 days. It might have been because an inspection needed to happen. And I can tell you right now, nobody tells the inspectors what to do. So if you call an inspection in, this has actually happened to me. I called an inspection in. I'm at the house, inside the house, waiting for the inspector. Get a call from the inspector as he's leaving because I wasn't there. I was like, I absolutely have been sitting at this front door waiting for you. Turns out he went to the garage door, knocked once, nobody came, he left. Douchebaggery. Douchebaggery. To the garage door where there's no doorbell. I am inside the house. How would I hear someone knocking on the garage door? And he left. I got so hot. I was like, I'm going to call your boss. So I actually called the HVAC contractor who knows the inspector. And I was like, I am going to burn things down if you don't get this dude back here to inspect this pipe. Because I had been waiting for like a stupid amount of time.
Oh yeah.
And
the
because
3-hour window that they give you, it's great.
Exactly.
It's great.
You're just like, and then he's like, well, I was there and you were there. I'm like, I've been there the whole time. So again, nobody tells an inspector what to do. They do whatever they want and you are at their mercy. So your general contractor could have called in an inspection and the inspector was like, well, I mean, maybe I'll be there. Maybe I will. Technically, again, the state of North Carolina, they have a window. They have like a 24 to 48 hour window where they have to show up or they can get in trouble. Do they actually get in trouble? No, because they pull shit like that guy did, where they're like, "I went to the door and nobody came." Oh, so just
my luck, it would be like the 10 minutes that I went to take a shower.
Right, or you're like in the bathroom. Oh well, I came. I blew on the door and you never came, so I have to go to my next. Yeah. Ding. Hello. Like they ain't trying. So I mean, some inspectors are freaking awesome. Some inspectors are the worst, and some inspectors are better with people who have relations. So when my HVAC guy called him, he was like, "Oh man, I didn't know this was your job. Yeah, let me go back." And he was like the nicest guy, and like I'm just like sitting there the whole time, like
I would just be like,
"Are you kidding me?" You know,
and you're like, don't say anything.
Yeah, I'm like, keep your mouth shut, Mikki. We need to pass this inspection, but I swear to God, like I'm just so mad. So understand.
You sitting there with like the little fumes coming out of your
literally,
head.
my head was on fire, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna say anything until he leaves, and then I'm just gonna scream. So know that like there's all kinds of reasons why things can be delayed, or there's all kinds of reasons why something isn't happening on your job. So they won't be working every day. And then the thing that we have said this a million times, and we'll say it a million times more. having clear communication with your general contractor and documentation of everything. So you have a really great contract. It says how long things are going to take. It has in your contract, your general contractor has let you know there may be delays. We are giving ourselves this much window of delays so that you know, okay, well, he said it was going to take this long, but he also gave me a 2-week delay window. So if nobody shows up for 2 days, you're like, all right, well, I'm still within the 2-week delay window. Like, it's fine. But the general contractor hopefully is communicating with you. Okay, we're waiting on inspections, or you're calling the general contractor because nobody showed up to do whatever, and maybe the general contractor didn't know they didn't show up, but you letting them know is great because now they can get on it. So that communication of like not I find that so many people are like, oh, I just thought you knew. And I'm like, how would I have known if you didn't tell me? So that is a really important thing. Communicating like, hey, Jim, Bob, Joe, Carol, letting them know, like, hey, just so you know, so-and-so didn't show up, or, I know you mentioned somebody was going to be here. I just wanted to let you know they're not here. And maybe you're a nuisance, but whatever, you're communicating and you want that same level of communication. So communicating and expecting that level of communication back, and even communicating that you expect that level of communication back. Like, listen, I expect you to communicate with me.
Yeah, because if you know what's going on, it's not as irritating that there's delays.
Than just guessing. You're just like, well, I don't know nobody's here. And it's so many people will be like, and they just never showed up. And I'm like, well, did you call the GC?
No.
And I'm like, why? You're paying him for this. So communicate. And then communicate your expectations. Like, I expect you to communicate. I expect to know what's going on. I expect a daily check-in. Even if it's just shoot me an email, shoot me a text. Like, hey, here's what happened on the job today. That's something that I do on very complicated drywall jobs. We'll kind of keep a record, a daily log of like, hey, these are all the things that happened today. So the GC knows, like, okay, so this is what happened with drywall, and there's no surprises for them. So communication is key. Some unrealistic expectations that we found is you will get HGTV results on a shoestring budget. That's not, we've talked about this before. That is not going to happen.
Nope.
Chip and JoJo have been lying to you for years, and I'm so sorry, because they seem like delightful humans, but the prices that they say on that show
are TV prices.
Are TV magic pricing, and it is not real. So if you were to like write down all the numbers they said and then figure you can get your whole house done for that amount of money, I just need you to know right now, that's going to go really bad for you. It's going to go really bad because they lie straight to your face. Now, I don't know if they do it intentionally. I don't know them. I don't want to throw shade on them, but I am saying those are not real numbers and you've been lied to. So you have to have, that is a very unrealistic expectation. You have to be on par with reality of how much money you have versus what you can get out of that amount of money. And so that is something that you kind of have to do your own research on that. Like the GC, if you say, hey, I want Carrera marble, they're going to quote you Carrera marble, and your probably teeth are just going to fall directly out of your mouth because that's a pricey product. So do a little research before you tell them what products you want, so you know how much they cost. And you might just want that porcelain tile that looks like Carrera marble.
Yeah. I mean, you can even go to like a Home Depot and Lowe's and look at some of the different quality stuff just to get a baseline of what things cost.
Yeah.
Because
material
wise. Shocked.
Yeah, you will be shocked.
You will be shocked.
You're like, I'm sorry, how much? Didn't you have this situation recently where you got a quote for the paint and you were like, okay, well, we're painting it ourselves.
I am painting. Yes, a 1,400 square foot townhouse. I mean, there's not going to be furniture in it, like ceilings, walls, trim, like have at it. They wanted $8,000. And I was like, over $8,000. They wanted $6 a square foot. And I was
now that's freaking nuts.
I was like, I'm sorry, because
like,
every
square
every square foot. There are so many square
Yeah,
feet.
no, I've never heard $6 a square foot for a residential repaint. I know they get more than new construction painters because they have to cover things and there's more that goes into it, but $6 a square foot is like, that's the I don't want to do it price. Which is very sad. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
So anyway, that's why I'm going
So Jess will be painting. That sucks. Another thing to understand, like an unrealistic expectation, is that DIYing it will always save you money.
No,
that's not true. In Jess's case, it's going to save her money to DIY the paint because the paint is an aesthetic thing. If she were trying to DIY her electrical, I would be like, absolutely not, ma'am. You're not going to DIY that. No. Because if you can make costly mistakes,
make it so much worse.
And then you have to bring in a professional anyway, and they not just have to do the thing that you initially needed them to do, but they have to fix the things that you did wrong. So know where a DIY thing is within your wheelhouse.
And YouTube videos. Yes, there's a YouTube video out there to fix everything.
This is true.
Everything.
This is true.
And they lie. They know how to do it. They know exactly what they're looking at. You do not.
Well, especially if you're not super handy. Like, I am somebody who, like, listen, I have fixed all of my appliances. Like, my washer and dryer broke, and I was like, Googled the problem, found a YouTube video, ordered the parts, fixed it myself. But I'm a contractor, been a contractor for 20 years. Like, Jess is like, no, we're going to call somebody, or we're getting a new washer and dryer.
Now
like,
I'm going to call Mikki.
Yes. And then I'll be like, oh, God.
I
said it on camera. So like, understand that there are DIY projects that can save you money, like doing your own paint. And there are DIY projects that can cost you more money, like doing your own drywall. That's a mistake. I got a call once. This guy was like, hey, I hung the drywall in my bonus room. Can you finish it? And I was like, send me a picture. This guy, it looked like a jigsaw puzzle. So drywall should be full sheets, because we tape it and go. He took every scrap piece of drywall, and it looked genuinely like a jigsaw puzzle. And I was like, no. I was like, no. Take that all down and let professionals hang it, and then I will give you a price. But no, I will charge you $1 million to do that. And then not even warranty it. Every single joint has to be taped and mudded, and then you have to level 5 finish the ceiling. No, so don't do that. If you don't know how to hang drywall, don't hang it. Just pay somebody to do it. There are certain things where, like, this is a super serious skill set. Or you think drywall because you saw somebody do it is easy. It's not. It's like Tiger Woods playing golf, and I use this literally every time. You watch Tiger Woods swing that stick, and you're like, I could do that. It's a club, but whatever, a stick. I don't play golf. But I watched it, and I'm like, that doesn't seem that complicated. And then I get out, and I swing with the fury of a Viking warrior and miss the ball completely. Because you know what? Playing golf is a freaking skill, and it may look easy, but it's not. It's wise. Same thing with drywall. Same things with a lot of things. I have seen people be successful with some tile backsplashes, like especially those ones on a sheet, like a mosaic. But beyond that, don't be doing your own tile. Don't do it. So know what DIY projects are just like, listen, I can actually save money on this. But understand that there are DIY projects that can cost you more money by DIYing it. That's an unrealistic expectation. Don't be these people that think that the contractor is going to handle everything without your input. You have to give the contractor input. You have to be communicating with the contractor. We have already talked about that. It is an unrealistic expectation that you will love every step of the process. You will not. There will be parts of this process that you will hate, that you will be miserable, that you will question your life choices. Like, it gets so bad, and then it gets better. It's like, if you ever like gone through like your closet and you're like, once you've gotten everything out of the closet, your bedroom looks like a bomb went off, and you're like, this is so much worse. And then you start going through things, and then you've got your donate basket, your throw out basket, the I'm keeping basket, and you start making progress, and then you're done, and you're like, this is amazing. That is what a renovation is like. There is a moment where you're like, what have we done?
And hopefully that moment doesn't last too long.
Yes, hopefully it's just a minute, but it's happening. It's happening, because it's like, you're probably not going to be able to live there the whole time. You may not have a functioning bathroom. You're going to be regretting your life choices for a minute. But then your bathroom's going to be amazing, and it's going to be worth it. You're going to be so happy. But it's unreasonable to expect that every step of the process is going to be amazing.
Unless you love chaos.
Unless you love chaos, which even people that love chaos
still
are not going to like this. So I think that's the main. Is there any other points that we like, especially from the homeowner horror stories, that we're like?
So I also think that you have to have a realistic expectation of when things are going to start.
Yes.
So if you are thinking in your mind that you want a new kitchen before Christmas, you can't plan to start a kitchen in December.
Yeah, no. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. None of that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Nothing. The contractors, if they're good, are booked out.
Yeah.
The subs are, if they're good, they're booked out.
If you're like, I want a new kitchen for Christmas, summertime is when. Now, springtime is when. A month ago is when you want that to process to get started. So really knowing like time frames of things, especially if you have a deadline. We actually hear that a lot. Like, oh, I really wanted this kitchen done. And I'm like, oh, well, when did you start? And they're like, oh, 3 weeks before the holiday. What? Like, no, that is such a bad idea. Don't do that. And honestly, don't do it, because it's not going to work out the way you think. And then you're going to have an unfinished kitchen for Christmas, and then you're going to be mad. But that's on you, boo. Like, that's not real. That's not real. Just because you saw it on HGTV is not true. They lied to you. It's called TV magic. And like, I love the shows. I don't know if you've ever caught this. I haven't watched in a while because I don't watch TV anymore. I read.
So intellectual.
I'm so intellectual. But I remember watching this one where that started where the woman was not pregnant. And it ended where she had gotten pregnant, been pregnant, and had the baby in the time it took them to do the renovation. And they very much tried to make it seem like this happened in a month. And I was like, that's not how that works. I've watched the process. Many a friends have made the babies, and I know that takes 10 months. So lies. Understand how long things actually take. Have reasonable expectations of how long things actually take. Like, when your contractor gives you a time frame, just in your mind, be like, you know what? In my mind, I'm gonna add 2 weeks. Just add 2 weeks. And then you will have a much better experience, because he said 5 weeks. You gave him 7. We're on week 6. He's about to finish. And you're like, this is great, because I knew it was going to take 7.
Yep.
So
setting those expectations,
being realistic, living in reality will honestly help you have a better experience. Because when you're kind of like, yeah, this is how construction is. Drywall dust gets everywhere. There's nothing anybody can do about it. Then you're not mad about the drywall dust. When you understand that, like,
oh, you're still mad about it, but you understand.
Well, yeah. You're mad, but you're not spicy mad. Yeah. You're just like, why?
Annoyed. Maybe you're
someone
more annoyed.
should study this. I've talked about that many times. So all of these things, like, you're setting yourself up for success in a renovation when you have realistic expectations, when you know what is an unrealistic expectation. And you're just like, okay, wait, that's not fair. Like, listen, people are going to not show up. I'm expecting that. And if I find that to be so unacceptable, then I'm going to hire a general contractor that has everybody in-house, and I'm going to pay more for that. And I expect that. So it's really managing your expectations. And the more you can manage those expectations, honestly, the better the experience will be, because nothing slaps you on the side of the head and you're just like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Some things It's possible. But again, managing those expectations, even if you know something could come slap you up the side of the head, when it slaps you, it does. You're not
You're
like,
oh,
you're like, oh, I thought that was
Yeah.
coming. So we
It's
hope
fine.
this helps. We would love to hear your homeowner horror stories where maybe you had some unrealistic expectations and how that turned out. We'd love to hear those stories. We're also encouraging not just homeowners, but we're now encouraging general contractors to write in to share their stories because we think we want to be fair. We want to tell both sides of the story. So, and I think there's a lot of information that's valuable to you as the homeowner to have it from the general contractor's perspective.
Mhm.
So, GCs, homeowners, go to chicksandconstruction.com. At the bottom of the page, there's just a form. You type it in and share your stories. And next thing you know, you'll be on the website, or you'll be on the website. You'll be on the podcast. It'll be all over. So share with us so we can share with the world.
Yes. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that
Please.
you can get all the episode
The
notifications
updates every Tuesday.
every Tuesday. We're coming at you. And then follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram at Chicks and Construction Podcast.
Yes, and Jess does all of that work. So that's in-house, okay? So you're getting to experience her mastery of social media. We are working on one of those baby videos where they're very popular right now. So it's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
So check it out just for the funsies on that. Also, we have some great photos. I'm just saying. We get a lot of feedback on the photos.
And we're going to start putting some pictures of the dogs so you can see
Oh, yeah, we really
what
do.
the dogs actually look like and how many there are.
There's so many.
Because you have to see them.
I love the dogs. I love them. I won't let myself get more than 4, though. I stopped myself at 4, which is a lot of dogs. So, all right, guys, we love you. We hope that you are having a great, it's currently summer right now, so we hope you're having a great summer. Many days by the pool, pina coladas, if that's in your repertoire, chilling, relaxing, and if you're currently having a homeowner or having a renovation, that it's going chef's kiss. That's what we're hoping for you. So we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.